And we're back. SmackDown versus Raw, Week 3, kicking off Monday Night Raw. How'd you guys feel? We had Enzo Amore and Big Cass taking on Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens. They're teaming up because there's nothing for Kevin Owens to do right now. Nothing for Chris Jericho to do right now.
Jericho.
They're Canadian.
Yeah, pretty
much. I like it. It's a small mini feud in my opinion.
I think Jericho's kind of like been a team with every heel that's ever worked in the WWE the last like 10 years.
Yeah.
Agreed.
What do you guys think about that match in general? I thought it was really good. It's sad that it's not really going to lead anywhere, so besides SummerSlam. So
yeah, it won't lead anywhere but SummerSlam.
Yeah.
But I still feel like Enzo's a glorified manager.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, he still has a lot to do to impress me. The thing is, Cass has almost always impressed me with everything he's done.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Enzo, who can talk, but when he's in the ring, I literally feel like he's an injury waiting to happen.
Yeah. Big Cass is really good on the microphone and in the ring. Well, he's decent in the ring. I wouldn't say he's like one of the greatest we have right now.
I'd say he's better in the ring than he is on the microphone. Like, he's pretty good on the microphone, but I feel like if like he just did more on the hey, I'm just gonna beat on you, and then they let Enzo do every bit of talking and just stay out of the ring.
Yeah.
Cass could be huge.
So, jog my memory real quick, if I can remember this. We had Big Cass taking the DQ, right?
Yeah, Big Cass came out.
Yeah, it was a DQ. Okay. Alright, that's fair play, I guess, maybe. I don't know how to feel about that too much, in my opinion. But we're going to get a match at SummerSlam. I think Enzo... I don't know if Enzo and Cass will actually go over. It's kind of sticky because then if they go over, it's guaranteed that they'll go against the club, who are inevitably probably going to go and get the tag titles. But on the other hand, we have the likes of Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens. And Kevin Owens is a good guy to go against the inevitable Finn Balor, probably winning the Universal Championship also.
Yeah, Kevin Owens. I feel like Kevin Owens is that next guy to get that push.
Yeah.
Then they could just, because then like you also got to look at this really weird, random thrown together feud, which we'll talk about it later on the show. That's currently for the United States title.
Yes, multiple people. Which at this point, let's just make it a four-way, in my opinion. But let's talk about Sheamus and Cesaro. We had them once again this week. Okay, we know the basic. It was kind of like, I'm trying to think of who else had a feud where they just kept on wrestling every week. I think it was a Wade Barrett thing. I don't know who.
Yeah, it was
I know
Wade
you're
Barrett
talking about.
and John Cena or something.
But it was like a weekly match. They would always fight off, and it would just be like, okay. So.
I know who you're talking about. I can't think of who it was. I know.
Was it Luke Harper and Dolph Ziggler?
That was another one. Yep, because that's where Luke Harper got the IC title, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just a random, filler match in my opinion. We had the Braun Strowman taking on a guy who actually got an entrance when the likes of Titus O'Neil and Darren Young didn't. I don't care for that feud at all because I think
I know who you're talking about. Now I know who you're talking about. You're talking about Ryback, because Ryback had that thing where you always had a different person.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I know what you're talking about. But
so you said Braun Strowman. I just said yeah.
Okay. Braun Strowman took on another jobber, beat him. Simple as that. Nia Jax, I don't think she got time this week, did she?
She got a little like vignette, but she did not get any time.
Yeah, she's got a really good vignette, in my opinion. I think.
That's what it really built her up as hey, she could really be the next thing.
Braun Strowman, I don't know if a vignette would help him.
I've said, that dude can wrestle.
That dude can wrestle. Russell circles around most of the women actually, because it's, there's not much women on the two of them if you look at it, and I feel like SmackDown got the lower half of the women, and Raw really got like some of the big ones, like of course Charlotte, Sasha Banks.
Raw's all top heavy on the women's division, and then when it tapers off, it really tapers off because they use like filler women.
Yep. Darren Young, Titus O'Neil. That's a big feud going on right now. I don't really know how to feel about it, in my opinion, because I'm not really liking it, in my opinion, also because
I don't see a point in it. It's one of those things. It's like, okay, they were a tag team. I mean, we've seen that kind of stuff before.
It could have happened a long time ago, in my opinion.
It could have happened when they broke up the first time.
Yeah,
but now.
Shoot, continue, because I like where you're going with this. Because I think that's where I'm going with this, is where they, broke up the first time. That would have been the perfect time to do it, and this is before the Abraham Washington slick. So
because when Abraham Washington left and they lost their tag team titles, they could have did this way when they started breaking up. Like that breakup was like under the rugs or something.
Yeah,
and now that they broke up like a second time, and now that Darren Young's like getting up there a little bit. And Titus is basically like on TVs, on commercials and stuff like that. It feels like it was like that short notice feud.
I think also Titus O'Neil, he could have been with Abraham Washington, and that could have been a good thing. And then Bob Backlund could have been with Darren Young if we had that going on.
I will say
that would have been really cool, but of course time change happens. That's why we don't have guys like Zeb Coulter around Abraham Washington, and who knows how much longer we'll have Bob Backlund, because Ric Flair is out for Charlotte, and Bob Backlund, we don't know how long we'll get him, sadly.
I will say one thing I have noticed about the rosters, it's on Raw you have a lot of those feuds that were already feuds.
Yeah.
Before the thing, and I think that's why they did it for Raw, because Raw has that whole extra hour that they need to fill with stuff, and they might as well fill it with rivalries that already have heat on them.
Jogging my memory, where was Sami Zayn? I can't remember. Did he have a match?
I don't believe so. And like I said, 5 hours of wrestling, you kind of get everything kind of jumbled up, but I do not believe we saw Sami Zayn in a match.
Yeah. And we'll talk about that also, because he's a big star, in my opinion, that he did not appear. Just like I don't believe we had a Cena or Styles appearance at SmackDown.
We did not, 100% actually. I can tell you we did not.
So we'll get to that in a minute, because that's kind of big, in my opinion, about top name people that weren't used. Maybe they're doing a house show or something else, but they just weren't used.
Then you think about it, we didn't really honestly see Balor except for his little video.
Yeah, that's a big disappointment, in my opinion. I think the video helped him a lot, though.
Time out of the 3 weeks, this is the second time that I don't think he really appeared.
The video really helped to put him over, in my opinion. The backstory part.
The Demon's coming back.
Yeah, the backstory part's weird, in my opinion. In terms of telling us all about Balor and the Demon and stuff like that. It helps people who don't know him already, which is good.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's just for the people who already know him. It's like, all right, we know what we're getting ourselves into. Seth Rollins is great on the microphone. It's funny when you think about him saying that Finn Balor isn't his real name, because then you have Tyler Black, Colby Lopez, Finn Balor, who's like, Prince Devitt, Virgil Devitt. He has to
pick a new name to write his name off of.
Yeah, so that was good. Hypocritical thing for the heel. I love that whenever they like have that small reference you can catch onto. So yeah, Seth Rollins is pretty good on the microphone. Other stuff this week, the club and New Day are tearing it up.
Ring post-itis.
Yes. The fact that they had 2 eggs in a liquefied jar to represent Big E's testicles was brilliant. We had Dr. Gallows and Dr. Anderson.
And then instead of coming out in the regular stuff, they came out in the lab coat.
They look like they just filmed that segment or did it live and then came out like on a green screen. Yeah, in a green screen or something like that. That was great.
Just imagine what will happen if this was still the Ruthless Aggression era.
Yeah. And
DX was still around. That would have basically blown off.
I think
more, it would have blown off more, because remember they had the 2 words for you, suck it, and all that other stuff. It would have basically blown up more, still helping out the New Day just a little bit, just a tiny bit.
I think it's sad because some of these feuds you can kind of see like, all right, New Day, if it's Kofi and Xavier, they're probably going to take the L. They're going to take the loss against the club for the titles. Such as, I think Balor and Rollins, that's like a big Balor thing, in my opinion, because if they don't, they're going to kill his hype real quickly. And
yeah, like especially because I believe he only has one loss under the Demon moniker.
Yeah, Enzo and Cass, I think they can take the loss against Jericho and Kevin Owens because, you know, Kevin Owens kind of needs that win to go up against Balor or maybe even Jericho and Balor, and you have a small thing where that goes on for a little bit. But you have the
that would be a good feud to help legitimize him as a world champion.
Yes, especially with the new title. So the new title needs prestige to it besides Finn Balor. So you need someone like the first undisputed champion, Chris Jericho, to help him out. Get that prestige going for people who...
Jericho can have a good match for just about anybody. And
exactly.
Balor's a great match anyway.
Exactly. So I think Enzo and Cass can take the loss because if Enzo and Cass lose, they're going to go against the club. And sadly, more than likely happening is that the club will beat them as their first actual championship match. It won't just be another rubber band match with the New Day. It might be the club, Enzo and Cass. So, shoot.
You see... Balor winning, the club winning. Do you see Balor Club being a thing after SummerSlam?
That's a... I don't know if they are gonna use that, in my opinion. Because
I mean, like, I just find it really strange that they're both getting big title matches that they both look to be walking away with belts after SummerSlam.
It's also the aspect of AJ Styles because. Is AJ gonna just ignore it? They also have shirts, by the way, too. But are they gonna ignore it? Like, is AJ gonna have?
AJ's wearing literally like the same shirt like that they wear.
Would I do the Balor Club now? No, I would wait until the Rumble, and hear me out on this, because it's too early to do it now. All right. But if you do it at Rumble, which is the next time we're going to see Raw and SmackDown together, you could have that moment where the Balor Club is together. Oh, no, we have
Survivor Series.
Is that before Rumble?
Yeah, Survivor Series is November.
Oh, do it at Survivor Series, and then I was thinking Rumble because that'd be great because then you have like AJ, the club,
yeah, that's what the
all
Rumble
of them in the
would
Rumble.
Be probably the best situation for it.
Yeah, because then you have that moment where the club or Balor Club at that point would be, you know, Balor, Anderson, and Gallows would turn on AJ and be like, you know, he's our new friend now. You know, remember Japan, guys? You know, he was before you, AJ. But there's also Survivor Series, which would be a really good one if you had the 5-on-5. Maybe
the club is for life, except for AJ Styles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, there's the big rumors of Kenny Omega coming. I don't think he's going to come up this fast. He's going to go in NXT.
That's actually what I was hinting at.
Stuff like that.
That quote I was hinting at Kenny Omega.
That's way too fast, in my opinion, to do that. So, more on Raw. Continue. Bang.
Oh, if he does come up, basically that would be like that one guy that says, yeah, I can do all this. Because I looked at his documentary about Kenny Omega and how his life is in Japan. Yeah. And he's basically saying, yes, I love wrestling. Mm-hmm. Like, he's not that guy that says, oh, yeah, one day I'll work out and another day I'll basically do something else. Like, every morning, this guy basically wakes up, works out, then he basically does the rest of his day spending his time trying to think of new moves up. Like, he is basically trying to add to himself, like make himself pop for everything he does.
And I think if we get Kenny Omega as an inevitable coming to WWE, because the stars have aligned, in my opinion. We got AJ, we got the club, you know, we got Doc Gallows or Luke Gallows, and Carl Anderson. It's only a matter of time till we get Kenny Omega and the Bucks, and then maybe Adam Cole. But let's talk about what else have I missed on Raw. Charlotte and Sasha, they're doing good. They're tearing down the house, in my opinion. We had Neville teaming up with Sin Cara, surprisingly. That was okay. I'm not too crazy about it, in my opinion, because
everybody was calling for one person to come out. Everybody's calling for somebody to return.
Yeah, to return.
Yeah.
Hey, Sin Cara returned. Any other thing you can mention on Raw besides the big main event, which was
The wedding.
oh yeah, the wedding. So midway through Raw, we had a wedding scene where it was Rusev. Oh no, they're reenacting their wedding. I didn't think we'd actually have a heel wedding. I thought this is where they'd be face. Roman go out and be a heel. Roman was actually pretty good, and I like the stuff where Roman was like, "Let's have some drinks." Like, okay, drinks with Roman.
Let's have some drinks, guys.
Yeah, and he's like, "You need a best man," and just the fact of like Roman Reigns being Rusev's best man at the wedding is hilarious. They of course fight, brawl, stuff like that. Lana gets hit with the cake. Surprise, shocker, right?
He freaks
I mean,
out.
a WWE wedding gone wrong, right? How many WWE weddings have we had gone right? Like, I don't think that's possible.
I literally don't think we've ever had one.
Oh, yes, we have. Yes, we have. Yes, we have. Macho Man Randy Savage and
Miss Elizabeth.
That don't count. That was a real wedding.
But it happened in the ring, so it does count.
Yeah, okay.
Twice. They had two weddings. So that probably is the only one that actually didn't go wrong.
Yep. So we had that, and then after that, we had going towards our main events. We have Mick Foley and
Daniel Bryan.
Daniel Bryan's putting over SmackDown. Mick Foley's like, "Hey, that's not why I'm here. I just want to say sorry for Brock beating up everybody." Daniel Bryan's like, "It's okay." And then this is where things got really tricky because like Rusev came out, he was angry, saying that he needs to be in the title match, not these other idiots. Then you have Cesaro said that he wants his U.S. title match now, which kind of solidifies the fact that it would be Roman and someone. So we have an impromptu Cesaro versus Rusev match. Let me tell you why Rusev retaining was a good thing. So this is an unpopular decision because people were like, "Oh, Cesaro should have won." Cesaro and Roman would not have been good for Cesaro. Cesaro versus Rusev and Rusev winning would have been better for Cesaro if Cesaro would have lost to Rusev than if Cesaro would have lost to Roman. Because if you look at it like this, of course, this is what Roman needs to be a Triple Crown champion. He's already had tag team with Seth Rollins, and then he's held the world title a ridiculous amount of times, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's held it almost like 5 times or something like that.
I believe 3, maybe.
It's at least 3, 5, 4.
Yeah, in the course of like a year, which is ridiculous. But Rusev beating Cesaro is good because Rusev beating Cesaro, who's a legitimate athlete, a legitimate wrestler who you gotta take serious because this guy can work. He is a phenomenal worker. He's one of the top workers in my opinion. Like he's up there with Sami Zayn.
He's one of my favorite in-ring workers.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
I never get bored of him. I love Rusev matches.
Well, you mean Cesaro?
Cesaro right now.
No, I love Rusev and Cesaro matches. I love both of them.
Yeah.
They're one of the top in-ring workers in the company overall.
Mm-hmm.
To me, like, no offense to you, like, to me, he's kind of like a mix of Vladimir Kozlov and Umaga to me. Like, when his first... Yeah, to me, like, if you look at it, like, it's kind of the same way. Mm-hmm. Like, you can... Like, Lana is basically the Alejandro of the reality era, and we have Rusev as the Umaga of the reality era.
Yeah.
You could basically look at both of them, and then you'll say that, oh, Rusev crush, Umaga crush. There you go. Next.
So, Rusev beating the legitimate wrestler that Cesaro is helps him going towards Roman, who Roman is a ridiculous 3-time world champion. He's beaten ridiculous guys and stuff like that. Rusev needs that. Rusev needs to beat a legitimate wrestler to go against a guy who beat legitimate wrestlers. You know, like Triple H. I went mind blank here, but Roman's faced a lot of legitimate wrestlers and beaten them. So, and that also helps because Cesaro beat Sheamus, who Rusev beat Cesaro, who technically that means that he could beat Sheamus, who Sheamus was beaten by Roman Reigns. All that aspect, all right? So it kind of just ties in together with the story aspect of that. And then Roman Reigns came out and speared him, so Roman Reigns ends up Raw. He ends Raw tonight. So let's talk about what we would give it. Devonair, are you there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
How many Lana Cake Massacre looking images would you give it out of 10? 1 to 10, or 0 to 10? But
Yeah, I think I would give it like a little bit of a 7 with a little bit of sprinkles on top of that period looking cake frosting.
yeah, Mullins, how many awesome Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho Canadian tag team matches would you give it?
I'd say like Raw was good, but I feel like Raw they could have legitimately built Rusev as like a powerhouse. Like they could have built him as a big threat, and then they just kind of killed it all with Roman at the end. I'm gonna give it an 8.5.
All right, Miguel, you there?
Yeah.
All right, Miguel. How many new Sheamus Titantrons would you give it tonight, or last night?
I'll give it a 8 out of 10.
A what?
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna give it 8 Superman Roman Reigns going against Rusev for the U.S. title, mostly because there's some stuff that is like taken away that I felt was unnecessary, such as the Daniel Bryan and Mick Foley thing was completely unnecessary, just for the aspect of Daniel Bryan saying Cesaro is a great wrestler, put him in a title match, and then you have him fight against Rusev in a Raw went over 30 minutes. The fact that Raw was 3 hours and 30 minutes blows my
over. Raw went almost 4 hours.
It blows my mind how Raw can be 3 hours and 30 minutes, and you still don't showcase all your talent. You don't showcase a lot of guys.
Nia Jax didn't get one squash match.
Yes.
They didn't let Finn Balor have a match again.
Yeah.
Like he's had one match since he's been on Raw, I think.
So,
And also they had like a wannabe David Otunga with that.
yeah. Oh, speaking of that, or not that, but the Demon apparently is going to be at Raw next week. Maybe, who knows? We might see him. So that's Seth Rollins is calling him out. So we'll see about that. Other than that, Raw was pretty solid in my opinion. 3 hours and 30 minutes, tad bit overkill. SmackDown, I don't know if I want 3 hours of both shows, but I feel like SmackDown should be able to go over 2, in my opinion. Like they're not really allowed to go over too much. So I don't know what's going on Tuesday nights that they're not allowed to. But time for SmackDown tonight. SmackDown kicked off with the inevitable Bray Wyatt and Eric Rowan, going back from last week of how they attacked Dolph and Dean. Alright, that was pretty chill. We saw that coming. They're going to main event the show. Alright, pretty chill with that. Big things that happened. I love the Sports Center interview area. Alright, that's pretty cool.
It has such a sports feel to it. It's actually really cool and it's different.
Yeah.
It's almost like watching something that's not even WWE, not even professional wrestling almost anymore.
The thing that I wish that they would bring back in their SmackDown shows, because since they're going to be doing SmackDown pay-per-views again, I hope that they do the how they used to do when they were doing the trying to ask the crowd who do they think is gonna win and who they think is gonna get the championship.
Oh, like the Cyber Sunday stuff, kind of, not really, but
yeah, they used to do that for the Royal Rumble and the championship matches.
Yeah. Here's something I did not like from SmackDown, which was a very dislikable thing in my opinion. They had American Alpha take on a jobber tag team. Alright, let's get into this, alright? They debuted, they took on Vaudevillains, and they beat them. Thumbs up. Why are they going back a step and taking on a jobber tag team? Okay, let's look at TNA jobber tag team. Jobber tag team TNA, JT Dunn and Chuck Taylor. If you don't know who those two men are on the indie scene...
Yes, I do. I'm friends with TJ Dunn, and he is a wonderful, wonderful talent.
So if you don't know who those two are on the indie scene, there's no way you're going to know these two guys, in my opinion. And that's not being disrespectful to them. That's just saying that local talent for one
I think
company.
I heard of one of those guys, and the only reason I had is because
Yeah.
of TEW.
Let me tell you why WWE should be using more bigger name local talent guys, especially with the Cruiserweight Classic going on. Here's a perfect time to have like 2 Cruiserweight Classic guys team up and go against American Alpha. Are they gonna win? Heck no, because that's just not what would happen.
But they're gonna make things look good.
But they would have made them look really good. Zach, you there?
I think so.
No, okay. I got a question for you. So, because we're on this topic right now, American Alpha took on 2 guys who, if you don't, okay, TNA last week, their jobber talents were JT Dunn and Chuck Taylor. If you don't know who those local 2 indie talents are, which they're kind of big, you know, at least they've kind of been big. They've been,
they're I'd say they're 2 of the bigger ones that are in. You can consider ND talent.
Yeah, in the indie circuit. Compared to these guys, who WWE has been having a lot of lower level indie people that you don't really know. Like, it's literally local people, like where I was from.
It's people
like,
that you have
I
to
knew,
literally, like,
yeah.
like you have to know, you've had to see them like actually live you wouldn't know who they are.
Yeah, you wouldn't see much of them on the internet. I think WWE needs to be using these Cruiserweight Classic guys as the jobber people. Sure, it kind of makes them look a little bad on television, but it gives them that spotlight before the inevitable Cruiserweight division. Because, you know, we got Ibushi signed, Zack Sabre Jr., I think Noam Dar got signed.
Yep.
I don't know if Jack Gallagher, but basically, if you were if you were in this Cruiserweight series, you probably got a signed deal for that Cruiserweight division on Raw, which I think that's where they need to sponsor all these lower level jobber guys for now while the Cruiserweight Classic's going on. You say, hey, you know what I want? Let's give me a Zack Sabre Jr. and a Noam Dar, just a thrown together tag team against American Alpha. Give him a good amount of time. Like, don't give him like 5-minute squash matches. Give him like a good 10-minute match, because that could really show the technical prowess of all of those men. Because, you know, Sabre Jr. and definitely American Alpha and Noam Dar, like, all of them are very technical and they could work. However, once we also had the fact that the Vaudevillains, Ascension, and Hype Bros were at ringside, it really kills the effect, because you have the mainstream tag team that is a thumbs up to win the tag team titles on SmackDown, while all these other guys are like, all right, Ascension probably not going to win it, sadly. Vaudevillains, maybe. All right, I will say maybe for Vaudevillains.
I say they're probably the number 2 tag team on SmackDown right now.
Yeah, Hype Bros probably not. So, you know, that's that portion of the show. Also, SmackDown, I like what you're doing with the women this week. Last week, I was not happy with it. This week, I was, because I actually liked Alexa Bliss and Becky Lynch. That was really good, even though you had the Eva Marie doing ridiculous stuff like the fake wardrobe mouth. I don't know what the heck that was all about.
That Eva Marie entrance is longer than all her matches have been.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Especially because they said that this was her spectacular debut or whatever, so... then you also had a Carmella versus Natalya match. That was great. I actually really enjoyed it.
That I'm telling you, that submission hold looked like it legitimately could have killed her.
Yeah, I think there was definitely some great stuff going on for SmackDown women this week. Last week, not so much.
I can see why they called Carmella up now. Like, I was hesitant on it, but I can see why. Like, she's really good in the ring.
There's a lot of filler segments. Rhino and Heath Slater, that was like, all right, that was not really cool. Sadly, I thought it was gonna be kind of cooler. It wasn't. Heath Slater took the loss, right?
Yeah, he took the loss.
He took the loss.
And then he had like a segment backstage with him where he's like, you know what, I'm out of here. Screw this place.
I love Heath Slater's T-shirt that says free agent.
Everybody was talking about that.
Everybody needs to get that.
That's why I was like, I need to get one. I was like, I need to get one now.
Yeah, he's gonna sell really well on that. Any other big SmackDown stuff I'm missing? Any other like random? Oh, Baron Corbin bullied.
He beat up Kalisto backstage, saying that he's the reason that he doesn't have the U.S. title match at SummerSlam, which means they'll probably have a match at SummerSlam.
Oh, Miz and
Maurice.
On
the pre-show.
Miz and Maurice made out on a table. Straight up.
Miz got locked in the Scooby-Doo car.
That was
they had a Scooby-Doo
stupid.
segment on both shows,
yeah, that was
which is
stupid. Because Golden Truth had that segment. What else?
Yeah.
What else on SmackDown? Any other big thing before the main
Randy
event?
Orton versus
Del Rio, yes.
Oh yeah,
I
Randy
forgot
Orton
about
Del
that.
Rio, where it looked like Orton was gonna have his arm broken.
Orton is really like, what was it? The last week, it looked like he that was it for him. Also, with that shoulder, he's really good.
Yeah.
Really good at selling. When it comes
Yeah.
to that fake injury, which was a real injury, but he's faking it somewhat. I don't know why. Like, I think he needs to look really strong going against Lesnar. And as sad as it is to say, I don't think Randy needs to be selling too much. I think he needs to like really pull a Brock and like just say, hey, I'm the Viper and all that, and actually go out and prove.
Yeah, they're not letting him do that because of the fact that all the RKOs he's been doing and hurting people. Like, people keep on saying, oh yeah, how many are like if he does one more RKO or something, he'll be like terminated or he'll be released or some random like stuff that's been going on like underneath the sheets,
I don't know.
backstage.
I've been hearing that stuff.
Me neither. But
Yeah, I've been hearing that.
But let's get into our main event, which was the inevitable Bray Wyatt, Eric Rowan,
DEW booking. It was
Dolph
the
Ziggler,
first
and Dean
segment.
Ambrose.
The last segment.
Yep. I'm trying to remember who won. Was it? I literally just watched it. And I can't remember who won. It was kind of forgettable, sadly. Was it Bray? Bray and them?
No, Ambrose and Ziggler won.
Okay, good. I was making sure. I was like, because if Bray would have won, that would have made it basically a three-way, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But since they didn't, Dolph and Dean. SmackDown kind of was a little bit more forgettable, sadly.
This is the first This is the first time where SmackDown was either just the exact same as Raw, or maybe even not as good as Raw.
I
So,
wasn't big on Raw.
Zach, we're gonna let you judge Raw first, since you weren't here for most of it, and then we'll let you start off SmackDown and say anything you want to say about Raw real quick. Also, Monday Night Raw, how many awesome Sin Cara re-debuts would you give it?
4.
Oh, dang, that's low. All right. And then for SmackDown, how many awesome jobber tag teams going against American Alpha would you get it?
5.
Oh, dang.
I was critical this week. I was not a fan of these shows, but I just saw this real quick. One thing I just found on Facebook: Bray Wyatt was apparently injured in a dark match against Dean Ambrose after SmackDown.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, my.
Damn it.
All right, Devonair, how many Carmella leg submissions choking out Natalya would you give it tonight?
Like, that's a tough one because of the fact that, like, I thought that Bray Wyatt was gonna win this because of the fact that he's giving good promos, giving good mic skills. He's got the skills to basically pay the bills. But the fact is, I gotta give this one like a 6 out of 9.
All right, Miguel, how many Del Rio deserves better, in my opinion, would you give it also? I think Del Rio would be a great guy to go against Dean, by the way. I'm just gonna put that out there. But how many would you give it? Because we're both Del Rio fans. We're not gonna talk about Kalisto. He got snubbed too.
I would give
Kalisto.
solid 7.
All right, Mullins. How many sensational, Eva Marie, spectacular debut wardrobe malfunctions would you give it tonight?
Man, I'm telling you, I was telling her that she should have still wrestled the match. But that's for another chat, I guess. But I'm gonna give it 7.5.
All right. For me, I'm gonna agree with Miguel again. Once again, I was gonna give it a 7. I'm gonna give it 7 Dirty Deeds, just because. If I had to pick a show to watch this week, it would be Raw, in my opinion. It's really, it's a give or take, because one week it could be that 2 hours is much better than the 3 hours, and some days it's the 3 hours pays off more when you have that middle ground. I don't know what the heck you're doing, Diva Air, but it sounds nasty.
Oh, sorry. I was basically getting some mango juice right now.
Zach, you were Team SmackDown. Anything you want to say on that for this week? And anybody else who was Team SmackDown? I'm trying to remember. I think Devonair, were you? No, Devonair was not. Mullins was not. So Zach, you were just Team SmackDown. Tell us why Raw was horrible because you didn't get your time to shine. So go at it, son. Hit for the stars. The go for swinger. I don't know how they say it.
Stars of the Caribbean.
I don't know how they say it in baseball. Hit for the.
Fancy.
Run the ropes.
Run the ropes.
Run the ropes.
Okay,
All right.
I gotta find the Raw results because that was a very forgettable Raw.
The shining stars of the Puerto Rican were not on it, but
Welcome to Puerto Rico.
Anybody
Stars.
want to give some thoughts on why they thought Raw was better? Mullins, Miguel, Devonair.
Raw. I just feel like it gave us more as it pertains to story. Like I feel like they didn't really add too much of the story as it pertains to on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
They added a lot to because they had a lot of story added to the whole Balor Rollins feud.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I had to agree with them because
Along with they had the whole New Day with the whole segment with the ring post-itis. That was good comedy work, which it shows that they can do the comedy thing just like New Day can do the comedy thing.
So I'm gonna say a big thing about this is SmackDown's wrestling was better in my opinion. I just think that last match was kind of forgettable. I don't know why I can't jog my memory over that match. I think
that's a big thing with
Rusev and his little wedding vest thing was pretty funny.
The segments on Raw mean more.
SmackDown
Yeah.
I pay more attention to the wrestling aspect than the story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I know I need to have been like sitting down watching. Like, I had to have been watching wrestling previously with the past week to get into the stories and everything. I wasn't watching anything. I don't even think I watched last week. It's like, okay, I'm just gonna sit down and watch whatever's on.
Mm-hmm.
But
So.
looking at what happened, it just doesn't seem like much happened.
I think there's more stuff in segments on Raw, but they're all kind of building towards stories that we already had before or stuff that is kind of a given in terms of, I don't know what that was, Steven. Are you okay? Or Mullins, what, you nearly died there. But as I was saying, anybody have any final thoughts before we go into closing for we're almost near SummerSlam, by the way.
Yeah, SummerSlam, we have one more week of, I think it's a week from this weekend.
Yeah,
or 2 weeks from this weekend.
Would you say, Zach?
I was very disappointed this week.
Okay. I think I wouldn't say I'm too disappointed, but I'm saying that there is a good decline right now, and they got to fix it.
There's a good chance that this is going to be one of the very few weeks where TNA might actually win the week.
Yes.
Yeah, or NXT.
Yeah, NXT's been pretty good.
NXT usually does do better on the wrestling.
Yeah, but you got to think though, when you look at everything, NXT is 1 hour. Raw is 3 hours, SmackDown's 2 hours, Impact is 2 hours. When we had Lucha, it was 1 hour. New Japan, I believe, is 2 hours.
And speaking of Lucha Underground, basically is coming back September 16th.
ROH is 1 hour too, by the way. So we will see you all next week. It'll be week 4 about that time. So it'll be the 4th week of us doing this SmackDown versus Raw. I'm gonna say it's Raw. Get your Pat Pattersons ready. We're having a pool party. It's near the end of the summer, guys. All right, until SummerSlam and all that. So.